News Now is brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. From the Pacific News Center in Hagåtña, Guam, here's Clint Rigel and Janella Carrera with Betsy Brown and Roselle Romanes. PNC Sports with Blake Watson. And weather with Joanna O. With your news now.
Hafide and good evening, Guam. You're watching PNC's News Now. We're broadcasting live on Guam and in Saipan. I'm Janella Carrera.
And I'm Clint Rigel. Thanks for tuning in. Topping your news tonight, a student at St. Paul Christian School reportedly brought a gun onto the Harmon campus yesterday. Now, the gun was not loaded, according to Guam Police spokesman Officer AJ Balahaja. We spoke with St. Paul Academic Administrator Manny Inseong, and he says that the situation was dealt with immediately. He emphasizes that safety of their students was never compromised. Inseong says the school learned that the student brought a gun to school, so they immediately contacted GPD, isolated the student, confiscated the firearm, and when police arrived, turned the gun over to police. Inseong could not tell us what kind of firearm the student brought to school, nor could he provide us with information about the student. But several concerned parents of the school tell PNC that it was a high school student and that they've been told that the student was expelled. Quote, "We are in full cooperation with GPD and continue to work with them to help in this investigation," Inseong tells PNC. Some parents say they were concerned that the school never contacted them regarding the situation and were disturbed to learn about the news through a third party. However, Inseong explains that the school's protocol is to work with police and clarify all the information in the investigation before they release details to parents in a full statement. Although he did note that, quote, "We handle the situation as parents call and we will let them know as far as what happened, and we assure them that the safety of their children is our top priority." Guam Police spokesman Officer AJ Balahaja tells PNC that officers with juvenile investigations have been activated. They are conducting an investigation. He says the firearm was confiscated from the student.
Two women who allegedly helped a man wanted on rape charges evade police are now facing charges of hindering apprehension and obstructing governmental functions. James Corpus had been wanted since December on allegations that he raped two minors known to him. According to police, for those 2 months, Corpus was hiding at a residence not far from where the girls were living, and Jennifer Sanchez and Keolani June Sanchez knew all along but failed to report it to police. In fact, police say the Sanchez girls were also living in the same household as the two minor victims. The two women would visit Corpus and bring him food. One of them, Keolani, told police that Corpus is the father of her children and that the two even checked into a hotel to spend time together. In fact, police say Keolani Sanchez and James Corpus spent Valentine's Day together. Marshals and police were able to nab Corpus after executing search warrants on Jennifer Sanchez's cell phone and Corpus's cell phone. Call logs revealed that Corpus was in constant communication with both Keolani and Jennifer dating back to December last year. Jennifer was booked and confined and Keolani was booked and released. Corpus was arrested over the weekend and is being held on $500,000 cash bail.
3 minors with a history of breaking the law ended up back into DYA after they led police on a wild chase early this morning. Guam Police spokesman Officer AJ Balahaja says 3 16-year-olds, a male Chamorro, a male Chuquis, and a female Filipino were taken into custody. He says the 3 minors stole a vehicle from the Totu area. The owner reported their car stolen and police were able to catch up with the minors near Father Duenas Memorial School. Police chased the stolen car all throughout the southern portion of the island. Balahaja says the teenagers were traveling in excess of 70 miles an hour and even went into oncoming traffic and attempted to crash into police cruisers. Other police units were called in to help, and the chase eventually ended in the Chaot area of Route 4. Balahaja says the driver fled into the jungle, but the 3 minors in the vehicle were taken into custody. They were charged with theft of a motor vehicle, eluding a police officer, reckless driving, assault on a peace officer, aggravated assault, use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony, resisting arrest, and conspiracy. They were sent back to the Department of Youth Affairs.
Charges against Dedido Vice Mayor Andrew Peter Beneventi were just solidified in an indictment handed down by a grand jury on Monday. The vice mayor was arrested earlier this month for allegedly threatening a family while pointing a rifle at them. On Monday, he was indicted on charges of 2 counts terrorizing as a third-degree felony, reckless conduct as a misdemeanor, and harassment as a petty misdemeanor. According to a complaint, Beneventi went over to a residence in Barrigada Heights and pointed his rifle at a car backing out of a driveway. Inside of the car was a male driver and 3 female passengers. He allegedly yelled at them saying, quote, "You better slow down or next time I'm going to shoot you." This is not the first time the vice mayor was arrested on charges that he threatened someone. He was previously charged in a family violence complaint for threatening his wife, but that case was expunged after it was complied with. Beneventi was released to third-party custodians pending trial.
Lawmakers continue discussions on Bill 22, which provides funding to DOC in order to meet some recent court-ordered improvements to the facility. And they began discussions on Bill 35, which creates the First Generation Trust Fund initiative in order to help public high school students on Guam go to college. Senators continue discussing Bill 22 today, which would authorize the governor to transfer money from fiscal year 2015 appropriations to comply with U.S. District Court Judge Alex Munson's order in the Department of Correction consent decree case requiring DOC to procure, among other things, an electronic locking system. Assistant AG Fred Nishihara told lawmakers yesterday it would cost $1.6 million and they would need to use sole source procurement. However, today Senator Tom Atta introduced an amendment that would only allow them to sole source the locking system as a last resort.
The spirit of how this thing should proceed should be, as you know, on a competitive basis, because if we all believe that with competition you're going to get the best prices, then let's go with that.
Lawmakers then began discussing Senator Narissa Underwood's bill to create a trust fund that would help pay for public students on Guam to go to UOG and GCC. The bill would require that DOE give $75,000 annually to the fund, that UOG give $250,000 annually, and that GCC give $150,000 annually. Senator Frank Bloss Jr. asked the heads of these institutions if they would need to have more money for this program.
Is this going to be then a call or request for you to increase a budget that you're going to, or that you've already submitted for consideration?
So in my current budget submission, it is not included. If this is an initiative that I support, I would request for additional funding to support it, unless there is something based on our institutional priorities.
UOG President Dr. Robert Underwood said UOG would be able to find the funds within their financial aid program. DOE Superintendent John Fernandez said DOE would need additional funding. Senator Mary Torres then questioned whether or not this program should be extended to private school kids or homeschooled kids because their parents are taxpayers as well.
Was consideration paid to the direct benefit to these students as opposed to a general benefit to all graduating students on Guam's high school? Public, private, and homeschool.
Senator Underwood says that the initiative was specifically focused on public school students because statistics show that only 33% of Guam public school students go to college, while 90 to 99% of private school students on Guam do enroll in college after graduating.
When we return, we'll tell you about a school running out of lunch. But first, I think Betsy Brown figured out where the foremost cow went, I think.
So Chamarita, how do you like it here in the new Foremost location? Coming up next on News Now.